name is Haleigh Scott. This is my instructional plan for my third grade resource class, who is on a first grade reading level, and we will be focusing on initial S blends as we do a phonics lesson. The goal of our lesson is by the end of the class, the students will be able to identify and read four-letter words with initial S blends. Our first objective is to just identify the four-letter words that have an S blend, an initial S blend. Our next objective is to read those words. So some essential vocabulary that we're going to need for this is initial, that means at the beginning, and S blend, which is the letter S followed by another consonant. So for the assessment of my lesson, I'm going to use a formative assessment to see if the student has met the objectives. I will show students a card that has a word either with an initial S blend or without an initial S blend. The student will sort them as examples and non-examples. I will check to see if the student has correctly sorted them. I will also ask the students to read the words on the cards, and I will use a checklist to mark the words that they read correctly. So in this third grade reading class, I have two students with a specific learning disability in reading. One of them is also an English language learner. So to help my ELL student, I'm very careful and aware of how I pronounce my letter sounds and words. I try to speak very clearly. One of these students is also very inconsistent. It's one day he may know or seem like he knows what to do and how to follow the rules of the language. Another day, the next day, it's like he's never seen it before. So for this student, I make sure to get a lot of repetition in and just getting him the practice so that we can hopefully get that skill down. Both of these students are very hands-on and visual learners, so I use a lot of pictures and tangible manipulatives. And for this lesson, I will need my phonics lesson library teacher manual, the example and non-example word cards, and a pocket chart, and the checklist to see if they read the words correctly or not. So this lesson will start out with me just explaining what an initial S blend is. After we do that, we will look at some words together, and we'll first identify the vowel in the word. Then we look to see what comes before the vowel. If it is the letter S followed by a consonant, we know that it is an initial S blend. If it is just one consonant, we know that can't be a blend. Or if it's not an S with another consonant, it's not an S blend. So we go through those cards, identifying the initial S blends and words that do not have them. We sort them into either the example column or the non-example column. After we have gone through and identified the blend in all the words, we look at the words again. This time we're following that same process, but we're going to read the words. So we first identify the vowel. If the vowel's A, we know A says A. We look before the A. We see an S and an L, so we know it's S, L, A, and say the last sound is So S, L, A, slam. And we go through that process for all the cards again. We start doing a couple together, and then I have the students do it on their own. So the impact that this is going to make on the learner, it's going to give them that repetition of going through the process. This is the same process to be used for all skills, whether it's blends, digraphs, silent E. We always start with finding the vowel, look before the vowel, what comes after the vowel. So we start with just teaching that skill, and it's just over and over the repetitiveness. Also with the pictures, them getting to, there are smaller cards where they can sort them themselves. There's just a lot of different ways that they're working with and manipulating these words. So this data I use to determine if I need to go back and reteach. If my students have got it down, they're ready to move on. So I base the pace of my lessons on how they do in each individual lesson.